CC won't let me be or let me be me, so let me see. They try to shut me down on MTV, but it feels so empty without me.
Is this seat taken?
No. Haven't seen you around town.
I'm not from this town.
Oh, how untraditional. Let's have premarital sex!
I don't know if we should get married right now.
Well, you know, a popular author once said, marriage is in general a means of increasing one's credit and one's fortune, and of ensuring one's success in the world to young men. I need to focus on making money right now. I would get married once we are both economically stabilized.
I don't know if I'll still be here. My mom is pressuring me to find a proper marriage.
Push! Push! The baby! Why is it fully clothed?
The couple had a baby but still weren't married.
You don't want to become too emotionally attached to your child because there's a very high chance that you may not survive long.
It will be very hard because I spend most of my time at home where my child would be.
I wish you good luck, but it seems that your baby is very sick, and there is almost no chance he will survive till the end of the year.
Well, why don't we have another child since this one was just such a bust?
We should focus on this child with the little time we have left with him.
The baby died very soon, like the doctor said it would. Several years later, the couple had another child that they would care for more than they had with the first. Also, the family ties were often very strong, so visits from family members were very frequent. Called for the liberation of working-class women through revolution. Meanwhile, women's control and influence in the home increased. The wife usually determined how the family's money was spent and made all the major domestic decisions. Several years later, the couple had another child that they would take care for more than they had with the first.
How are you doing financially?
I'm a full-time mother, not a wage earner, as I am excluded from the jobs because the law places me in an inferior position. Mother, I'm also afraid to tell you that I've turned to prostitution for money.
You should have told me you were in trouble.
Well, I have also been campaigning for women's rights, so I can gain access to jobs where I can make more money.
I know you want to find a job, but I think you should be considering your husband's comfort and maybe keep care of the household and more. That way you should be sheltered from the harsh outside world.
Push! Push!
Now the couple was economically stable and married with another child. At this time, more babies were born to married mothers. One explanation is that there was a shift to more Puritanism and a lessening of sexual permissiveness among the unmarried. Over time, a strong emotional bond developed between the husband and child.
I'm going to listen to my mother and make sure my child is taken care of, and I will not hire a wet nurse.
What are you doing? Is that suffocating him?
It's called swaddling, Father.
The increase of care for infants was matched by a greater concern for older children and adolescents. Women began to limit how many children they had so they could adequately take care for those they had. By having less children, they could focus on the ones they had and let them get ahead and achieve more than their parents.
10 years later.
Mom and Dad, you need to let go and not take as much care of me. I need some independence.
We won't give you any independence until you start succeeding in life. You continue to fail and you need to try harder. You aren't giving enough effort.
All you do is demand more of me. You need to let go and give me my own independence.
Oh no!
Nowhere to run to, baby. Nowhere to hide. Got nowhere to run, baby. Nowhere to hide. Oh, it's not love I'm running.
The child found a good paying job and grew into the working class, making it easy to break away from his home and to find his own independence.
Whew, finally done with second period. It's break time. Now time to do my daily push-ups to keep my arms extremely large. Alright, here we go. Woo! Yeah! Ooh! I'm ceiling, yeah! nice of you guys to show up. Not sure if you just heard it, the bell just went off, but not really surprised here. So, alright class, anybody remember what we were talking about the other day?
Oh, you were just telling us about how much the A's suck every year.
Well, actually, the A's are a solid MLB franchise, and I'm sure they're going to make the run for the glory this year. Really showed some potential here, and I'm sure they're going to win the World Series, even though they haven't won since 1989. But, you know, the Raiders are also just another great team, even though they also suck and lose every game. Oh, also another issue. Where are the donuts? I mean, come on. Nobody in first period arrived late today, so that means I'm not getting any donuts. You guys really need to step up the donut input. Alright. All those issues aside, let's get started. So class, what were social scientists used?
They had access to massive sets of numerical data that governments had begun to collect on everything from children to crime, from population to prostitution. They analyzed these facts scientifically and tested their theories.
Incredible, you actually got the question correct. Does anybody know any key examples of these social scientists?
Karl Marx. That's gonna leave a large bruise on my nose. How embarrassing!
Yes, that is really embarrassing. So class, who is Auguste Comte? You again.
He started out as a disciple of the utopian socialist Saint Simon and eventually wrote a 6-volume system that was very popular in the Romantic era and became more influential after the political failures in 1848, which completed the swing to realism.
Whoa, 2 questions correct in a row. You must be cheating. Alright, can somebody give me the 3 different theoretical conditions that Comte said all intellectual activity progresses through? Anybody? Nobody knows. Well, I guess I'll just call on somebody. You!
The theological or fictitious, the metaphysical or abstract, and the scientific or positive.
Yes. Also, as the knowledge of astronomy developed, the explanation of cosmic patterns changed from the will of God to the will of an orderly nature to the rule of unchanging laws. Yeah, and later the same intellectual progression that took place in increasingly complex fields like chemistry, physics, and the study of physics. Comte believed that by applying the scientific method, his new discipline of sociology would soon discover the eternal laws of human relations. His stages of knowledge showcased the 19th century fascination with the idea of evolution, dynamic development.
Who's that?
Oh, that's my bud, Charles Lyell.
So why are you important?
Well, I discredited the long view that the Earth's surface had been formed by short-lived cataclysms, like biblical floods and earthquakes. I created the principle of uniformitarianism. I believe that the same geological processes that are still at work today slowly form the Earth's surface over a long time.
Hey, what's that?
They're chips.
Shouldn't be eating in class. It's not allowed.
Hey, there's Jean-Baptiste Lamarck.
Aren't you the guy that believes all forms of life arose through a long process of continuous adjustment to the environment?
Yes, but my work was slightly flawed. I believe that the characteristics parents acquired during their lifetime could be inherited by their children, and I sort of paved the way for my friend Charles Darwin.
Yeah, I was the guy who traveled around South America and discovered that all life had gradually evolved from a common ancestral origin. No big deal. I wrote my theory in a collection of my work called On the Origin of Species by the Means of Natural Selection. Anybody read it? Well, in it, I argue that chance differences among the members of a given species help some survive while others die because their traits don't suit their environments. Then the variations that are necessary for survival are naturally spread to the entire species through reproduction.
This is gonna feel real good, alright? Most dope. Everybody please put a thumb in the air.